Miller back here along with Karen Stack. We are winding down toward the end of our pregame festivities. Seneca and Sullivan is coming up very shortly. When you talk about Seneca, though, it's very interesting, Karen, that their leading scorer and rebounder is Veronica Huffless, and yet the young lady that everyone keys on when they control Seneca, or try to defensively, is their center, and that's Angie Stubblefield.
Well, she's a lot to deal with. She's 6'2". She's been leading the tournament in scoring, second in rebounding. She's been a real tower of strength inside for Seneca.
Meanwhile, on the Sullivan side of things, Becky Clayton might be the most physical player in this entire tournament.
She's capable of scoring inside. She's got a nice touch on the ball. And again, she is not their leading scorer, but she does so many things for their club and on a very balanced Sullivan team.
Well, we are set for the starting lineups for what we think will be an outstanding basketball game. Let's turn things over to our public address announcer, Steve Adams.
Let's meet the starting lineups for this evening's championship ball game between the Lady Irish of Seneca at 28-1 and the Lady Redskins of Sullivan at 34-0. At one forward for the Lady Irish, a 5'10" junior, number 34, Veronica Huffless. At forward for the Lady Redskins of Sullivan, a 5'7" junior, number 33, SHERI Adams. At forward for Seneca, 5'10" senior, number 22, Donna Einhaus. At forward for Sullivan, a 5'9" junior, number 24, Tiffany French. At center for Seneca, 6'2" senior, number 31, Angie Stubblefield. At center for Sullivan, a 6-foot senior, number 34, Becky Clayton. At one guard for Seneca, number 23, a 5'4" senior, CORRINA BECK. At the other guard for Sullivan, a 5'7" senior, number 12, Amanda Glazebrook. At guard for Seneca, 5'3" senior, number 25, Terry Buck. And at guard for Sullivan, a 5'5" junior, number 11, Stephanie Monroe. Seneca is coached by Rich Anderson in his 12th year with a record of 278-43. Sullivan coached by Scott Thomas in his 4th year with a record of 104-14. The officials for this evening, Marlon Marquardt of LaGrange and Gary Schiefer of Downers Grove.
One note you may want to keep an eye on about this Sullivan team. This team has only been out-rebounded once in 4 years. They're not that big, but they block out very well. Just one of the many things you'll learn about the Sullivan team before the night is over. And we'll be back after this word from one of our network sponsors, Toyota.
Welcome back to the Assembly Hall. We're just about set for the tip-off tonight. The 28-1 Seneca Lady Irish against the 34-0 Sullivan Lady Redskins. Our officials this evening, Marlon Marquardt and Gary Schiefer. Sullivan, as we told you, the home club. They are out in their home red uniforms with black and white trim. Seneca in their traveling green uniforms with gold and white trim. Angie Stubblefield against Becky Clayton. And Seneca with control to start things. In the lane, the shot attempted by Donna Einhaus, and the ball tipped out of bounds. It will be retained by Seneca. Einhaus and Stubblefield, the co-captains on this Seneca club. Stubblefield has it out front. Towers over everyone at 6'2". Einhaus to CORRINA BECK. She is a big three-point threat. Underneath the pass, fed inside to Terry Buck. Missed the shot. Foul call, though. And this will be a Sullivan foul to start things off.
Well, Becky Clayton was caught a little bit out of position, and Stubblefield just charged in, as you'll see her coming into the picture on the weak side, and Clayton just kind of caught there, and Sullivan will take it out of bounds on the baseline.
Terry Bunt getting a start tonight. She did not start the semifinal game. Inside with a pretty feed to Angie Stubblefield, and she has Seneca out in front 2-0.
She keeps that ball up high. It's going to be very hard to defend for the Seneca club.
Quickly back, though, is Amanda Glazebrook. I think the Seneca heads were turned defensively, and Glazebrook just penetrated the lane and drew a foul.
Well, Glazebrook is their leading scorer, and she'll look to get them on track here.
Foul against number 34, Veronica Huffless.
Veronica Huffless picking up Seneca's first personal. And 2 shots coming for Amanda Glazebrook, who is the leading scorer on this Sullivan club at just over 18 per game. Also averages 5 rebounds and also leads the team in assists and is an excellent foul shooter.
Well, they say before it's all over, she is on pace to break the Class A assist record as it stands, which will include the assists from this game, but you'll see she's got a good person who finishes off on the inside, and Becky Clayton.
Tied at 2. Full court pressure that we told you about from Sullivan. Stubblefield, left baseline. Lobs it out front, pass through the hands, and unable to save it along the near sideline was CORRINA BECK. So even when Seneca broke the full court pressure, Sullivan kept the pressure on in the half court defense. On the attack is Stephanie Monroe. Monroe open for the 18-footer, missed it. Ball fought for, and Monroe tracks it down on the near sideline. Glazebrook now through the lane to an open SHERI Adams, missed a 15-footer. Ball lost, and there's Glazebrook to pick up the garbage and score.
Well, the Seneca players are fighting themselves for the rebound. They're finding that the ball is coming off hard off the rim. They're not able to limit the second shots.
Seneca again breaks the pressure, but not without some difficulty. Terry Butt lobs to Stubblefield. Double team, missed the 5-footer, and Clayton boxed out neatly to grab the Sullivan rebound. Monroe to Glazebrook, streaking in, laid it up, no. Ball tipped. In the corner, Monroe has it. Then dribbled it off her foot and out of bounds.
Well, credit the pressure of Seneca there, and I thought Monroe was going to grab possession and just wait, but she decided to try to dribble out of the pressure.
Buck in the backcourt. Now trying to pass and cross the timeline was CORRINA BECK, but she took a couple of steps before she put the ball down. So the secondary trap in that instance caused the turnover.
Well, we're seeing a lot of trapping, a lot of up-court pressure, and CORRINA BECK with a very noticeable step before she put the ball down.
Glazebrook out front, the 18-footer by Tiffany French is home.
Tiffany's one of those players who really adds to this team. They have such balance in the Sullivan club.
6-2, Sullivan by 4. We played about 2.5 minutes, and in the forecourt, a foul on SHERI Adams. Adams riding CORRINA BECK just a little too hard. Second Sullivan team foul.
Well, they won't accuse either team in the early going of being lax on intensity. Both teams really going at it.
Huffless banks it in from 10. Huffless flashed to the ball around the key area and has her first 2. Monroe to Glazebrook. Return to Monroe. Her 3-pointer short. Fights for the rebound, but is over the back of Veronica Huffless.
Well, Huffless had a monster game in the semifinal against Piazza, and she's just been rebounding, scoring. We got the shot from the outside by Stephanie Monroe, and Huffless just goes up and claims that rebound, and Monroe, trying to follow her shot, came right in over the arm.
Monroe with Sullivan's 3rd team foul. Here's the pressure again. Finally, they inbound to Huffless. She is double teamed. Return pass now to CORRINA BECK. Beck to Huffless. Finally, they break the pressure to Stubblefield. Her pass is too high for Einhaus, but she does track it down in the corner. Huffless, free throw line, almost had it taken away. Then traveling called on CORRINA BECK.
Well, CORRINA BECK struggling out there a little bit. She got the starting nod in tonight's game as a senior, and just really seems to have a little bit of the jitters in the early going.
Corrina Beck, as we said, the three-point specialist, the best one on the floor, at least statistically, 19 of 38 on the season. Here's Tiffany French again with her second field goal. She has found some room at the top of the circle for two jumpers.
Well, once Seneca makes it by the Sullivan press in the backcourt, they'll find that they have their teammates wide open in the front court.
Einhaus tried to pass to Stubblefield. It's tipped out of bounds and off Stubblefield. So another turnover for Seneca. Officials timeout. 4:33 remaining first quarter. Sullivan 8, Seneca 4. And one of your network sponsors is the American Dairy Association of Illinois and Wisconsin. We invite your comments on these tournament telecasts. Drop a note to IHSA TV, 2715 McGraw Drive, Bloomington, Illinois, 62701-2715. Thanks for your interest. Scott Thomas, the head basketball coach at Sullivan, is an interesting story, and Joe Cashin fills us in with some details.
He is an interesting story, Brian, and so is Rich Anderson, who's a very superstitious coach for Seneca. He keeps a penny in each pocket for good luck. In fact, the Seneca coach forgot one of those pennies against Braidwood Reed Custer. That was their only loss of the year. Now he keeps a steel penny in one pocket. It must work. They've won 10 in a row.
SHERI Adams hits the jumper along the left baseline, her first two, and Sullivan extends their lead to 6 at 10-4. In the lineup for the first time for Seneca is Amy Robinson, who had been a starter. Robinson helping out with the ball handling. Trying to drive along the right baseline was Veronica Huffless, and she was fouled on the dribble.
Foul against Tiffany French.
Tiffany French with her first. 4 team fouls on Sullivan. Rich Anderson was concerned about the Sullivan press, and so far that concern has been very justified.
And I think Amy Robinson's going to step in and take control out here. She's a very good, excellent ball handler.
Losing the ball again, and this time Glazebrook on the weave, left side to Monroe, and a foul call this time on Seneca. Terry Buck whistled for her first.
Well, I don't know if this is the fatigue factor a little bit or what it is, but defensively, neither team seeming to be in very, very good position in the early going. There's a lot of fouling going on the drives to the basket.
That brings up the question, Karen. These two teams now playing their second game in the same day. What kind of a factor is that? It's
a big factor. They're going to have a lot of energy in the early going, but it's whatever team maintains its concentration level is probably going to come out on top.
After a missed shot by Amanda Glazebrook, Seneca with the basketball. Robinson to Terry Buck. Now top of the circle, Huffless. Her 16-footer rolls off, and Becky Clayton with another board. She averages just under 14 a game. Glazebrook, nice bullet pass to Adams, 15-footer short. Rebound corralled, and French trying to go back up. It's blocked, got it back, and a foul call.
Well, I'll tell you what, Angie Stubblefield had 2 real nice blocks, but that was a good call by the ref. On the third one, she seemed to get the wrist as well. As we take another look, Tiffany French doing a good job of sneaking in there, and with the height of Stubblefield, she's able to deflect a couple and then finally take kind of too big of a whack, and that'll put Tiffany French at the line.
Stubblefield's first personal is Seneca's third as a team, and Tiffany French hits the first of 2 free throws. She has 5 of Sullivan's first 11.
I think on any given night, any one of these Sullivan players can step up, score double figures.
Yeah, you certainly don't win 34 straight games relying on 1 or 2 people. 12-4 Sullivan. And now a double dribble for Terry Buck. She was so anxious to get the ball inside, and some of these turnovers by Seneca have been unforced, like that one.
Most of them in the early going. They're the kind that will make Coach Anderson over there get real anxious. But I think as things settle down, we'll see the Seneca team that we saw earlier in the day, and they usually work together real well.
Well, 6 turnovers in about 5.5 minutes. On the weave, Amanda Glazebrook drives the lane for her second field goal, and a turnover again. Monroe steals. Now Glazebrook for 3. She hit it. And in the backcourt, Glazebrook commits the personal, but right now Sullivan on a big run, and their lead is 13 at 17-4.
Foul
Rich Anderson thought about it. He does indeed want a timeout. 2:36 remaining in the first quarter, and Sullivan with a 13-point advantage at 17-4. They have scored 9 straight.
Well, you could sense them just wanting to put the nail in the coffin on that. They really wanted to keep the momentum going, and wisely, Coach Anderson calls a quick timeout to try to regroup the team there. And Glazebrook has just been the catalyst. She makes an incredible clutch move in the paint, pumps it up, and right off the back, Sullivan goes straight into their press off of a made shot. The quick steal, and here Sullivan, we follow the play a little bit, you'll see her popping out on the right side as they swing the ball around, and she's right there for the three-point shot, gets her legs set, and boom, causes Coach Anderson to call the quick timeout.
Seneca uses 1 of their 4 allotted timeouts as Rich Anderson trying to stop the run and get the bleeding stopped before it gets any worse. Meanwhile, Scott Thomas has to be very happy with what he's seen from his club thus far. 8 more field goal attempts for Sullivan. That shows that they have had the basketball for most of this quarter.
Well, both teams, I don't know if the Seneca experience is going to show through a little bit as the game goes on. They've been here, as we mentioned, in the Open 4 times, winning in '87. They've had 4th place finishes in '82 and '89, and I don't know, the Sullivan team looks like they've been here every year so far, really playing well.
That last foul on Amanda Glazebrook was the 5th on Sullivan, so a 1-and-1 opportunity now for Seneca's Amy Robinson. 39% free thrower, and she misses the front end. Becky Clayton is tied up by Veronica Huffless, and on the held ball, the alternate possession to Sullivan. This is exactly what Rich Anderson didn't want his club to get behind early against a team that is unbeaten and brimming with confidence. Adams drives the right side. SHERI Adams with 4. Anderson or Amy Robinson quickly back, missed the shot. Stubblefield's follow is off. Ball tipped to Einhaus. Head fakes Clayton, who blocked it out of bounds.
And Einhaus had to put that shot out, didn't have a choice. And Becky Clayton was waiting there, licking her chops, and good way to stay after it. Thought about it, pump fake, said, oh, I thought I had her up, and smartly enough, Clayton stayed on her feet and was there for the block.
Stubblefield underneath the right side, missed the shot, but a blocking foul called on Monroe. Or is that Adams? That's SHERI Adams picking up her 2nd personal. She didn't allow Stubblefield room to catch that ball and come down.
That's exactly right. I was going to say, usually the Sullivan fans wanted a charging foul on Stubblefield, but on that pass and the defense coming over from the weak side, you have to allow the player room to land.
Stubblefield hits the first free throw, a 68% shooter. Looking for her 4th point now, and that stops an 11-0 run for Sullivan. Stubblefield hits them both. Under 2 minutes to play, first quarter, 19-6 Sullivan. Glazebrook's 3-pointer out front, in again.
Well, I think Amanda Glazebrook wants that title. She's really just come out and hit from all cylinders, inside, outside.
Einhaus in the lane, banked it in, it'll count, and she's fouled.
I'll tell you, this afternoon, Einhaus had a great game. She really started them off in their game against IHSA, and it was she had 16 points, and most of those scored in the first half, so it's been kind of quiet here, but don't look for that to last very long.
SHERI Adams has picked up her 3rd personal foul for Sullivan. She'll be replaced in the lineup by CORRINA Elder, a 5'11 sophomore.
There's a nice story on CORRINA Elder. She was cleared to play in the tournament just this past Thursday. She's had an ankle and knee problems, and the doctors worked her out at a local college, and she's in the tournament and very much inspirational to her teammates.
And we see a rare turnover in this quarter for Sullivan as Stephanie Monroe turned the basketball over on the dribble. 1:30 to play first quarter, a 22-9 Sullivan lead, and Rich Anderson just hoping his club can peck away at this big deficit. And Doubtless helps with a 5-footer along the right baseline for her second field goal. Quickly back is Glazebrook, and she is fouled from behind by Donna Einhaus, reaching in. We see some of the speed of the Sullivan players, in particular Amanda Glazebrook.
They've been pushing the ball up all evening here, and you never know that they have played a game already today, but we'll see how long they can keep up here.
Glazebrook to trigger, baseline right. She has been the story of this first quarter. Tiffany French from 15, around and out. Tip to the floor, and Monroe, who's tracked down quite a few loose rebounds in this quarter, has it back. French thought about the jumper. Now reloads to Monroe. Glazebrook as Robinson missed a steal. Clayton, first shot of the game, off. And the rebound controlled by Seneca. Robinson, bounce to Einhaus. 40 seconds for the quarter. Robinson resets toward the timeline. Stubblefield. Clayton knocked the ball away and stole it. 3-on-1. Ahead to Glazebrook. Laid it up around and off. Clayton has the rebound. Follows it up and in.
What a tough shot over the 6'2" Stubblefield. Glazebrook on the layup as a natural left-hander probably should have gone with their right, but Stubblefield was there, Clayton there to clean up and put the easy follow-up in.
Last shot time for Seneca. Stubblefield fades over Clayton, rimmed it off. Clayton tips to Monroe. Monroe didn't get it away in time. But a great first quarter for Sullivan. Their lead after one is 24-11 over Seneca. And one of your network sponsors is True Value Hardware.
Seneca is in this championship game tonight is because they beat Little Neponset High School in the Super Sectional. They were the smallest school ever to make the Sweet 16 for girls basketball. I'm with Coach Chuck Blake. Only 22 girls in the entire school of 43 enrollment, and 11 of them on the basketball team. Must not be tough to recruit.
No, it isn't. We have to hope that we get the girls to come out, and when they come out, we have to hope that they perform.
Got 5 underclassmen starters all coming back next year. I guess we'll see you on this floor in the finals next year, right?
Well, we say we're full of potential, but potential means we haven't done anything yet. So we have good feelings about next year, but we don't know. We'll have to play the game to find out.
Chuck, thanks so much for being with us. Hopefully we'll see you next year.
I hope so too.
All right, now let's join Brian and Karen back for more of this action-packed Class A final.
Thank you, Joe. We're set for the start of the second quarter. Seneca with the basketball, trailing by 13. Sullivan with a big offensive period.
Well, the 24 points scored by Sullivan is the most points in a quarter in a championship game in the tournament.
A hill to climb for Seneca, and Becky Clayton climbed the ladder and stole the basketball from Stubblefield, and now the officials apparently will go over and talk to the scorer's table because the clock never started. Somebody might have unplugged it. Now we're back to 0-0 on the scoreboard. I think Seneca will take that. In one of the consolation games today, we had some problems with the clock as well. So this isn't the first time this afternoon we've had some problems.
I think it's a little bit of overuse. There's been non-stop action here at Assembly Hall since yesterday morning.
Yeah, maybe it's overheating. They're going to get the correct score back up there and start once again with 8 minutes and probably rotate some seconds down from there since we were actually playing.
And usually on that scoreboard you will see the player number, points, and fouls for all the fans here that have packed Assembly Hall, but I think we'll just be lucky to have the score up there at this point in the minutes running.
They were doing the wave here moments ago at Assembly Hall, but I think Scott Thomas, this is probably the worst thing that could happen for his basketball club, breaking the momentum that they had put forth through 8 minutes of basketball.
Certainly was, and Coach Thompson only in his 4th year, but he's had a lot of experience. He coached an 8th grade girls team to an undefeated state crown in 1985. Then he, in 86, assisted the 2 topless boys to a state title, and now he's bringing that tradition over to the Sullivan team.
You know, you talk about grammar school, and it's very interesting that both these teams very experienced, and most of the players played together in grammar school as well. The Sullivan starting 5 played together and won a championship, and the same could be said for the Seneca club.
Well, I guess when they're from such small towns, they play together. There's the same middle school and upper school, so they start the girls at an early age, and you can tell that's the key to developing good basketball players.
You talk about small towns. We have some stats on Seneca coming up as the evening progresses that will definitely amaze you. Seneca with the steal. And Einhaus puts in a rolling 10-footer along the left baseline for her 2nd field goal, and it's back to an 11-point game.
Well, Seneca out here with a little press of their own. They're putting the pressure to Sullivan, and Robinson was able to come up with that quick steal.
Glazebrook, who had a 12-point first quarter. Clayton. And the jumper missed on the right side by CORRINA Elder, and a foul called on Sullivan.
Again, Becky Clayton caught out of position a little bit, and Einhaus slid right in there to get the weak side rebound. It'll be Clayton's 2nd foul in the same type of manner, where she's just kind of caught up in the middle trying to go for the defensive rebound, but the Seneca player is able to slip in.
With her 2nd, more importantly, the 8th team foul on Sullivan, so double bonus time. 2 shots for Donna Einhaus. Missed the first. 75% free throw shooter on the year.
Maybe for our viewers, too, who mostly follow the college game or the pro game, I might want to explain that on 8 team fouls, they do get 2 shots at the basket instead of the regular 1-and-1 bonus situation.
Off the scramble, Veronica Huffless is over the back of Tiffany French, her 2nd personal. 5 team fouls now on Seneca, so we'll go down to the other end, and on the 5th team foul of a half, it's the 1-and-1 situation.
Well, again, we spoke of the fatigue, and a lot of times that'll come with fouling and not moving your feet and anticipating while on defense. So we're at that bonus situation at an early point in the half.
Tiffany French, a 60% free thrower, hits the first. She'll get 1 more. Her cousin, Misha Coy, is part of the Sullivan Ball Club and a contributor who has started at times this season. French hits them both. She has 8. 26-13. Sullivan's biggest lead thus far has been 16. Amy Robinson to Terry Buck. Now Veronica Huffless. 10-footer off. Einhaus keeps it alive in the corner, then loses it to the floor. They dive out of bounds, and Sullivan will have control.
No lack of hustle by either team. So any loose ball there, you see a bunch of jerseys converging on it.
Becky Clayton breaks the pressure. Elder underneath to Glazebrook, who scores.
And that's what CORRINA Elder provides for this team. A real nice look to the cutting Glazebrook to the basket.
Terry Buck in the forecourt. Einhaus. Huffless. Missed it. Glazebrook with the rebound, fell to the floor and traveled. Tough call. She and Amy Robinson fighting for that loose rebound. Sullivan substitution. Here's Misha Coy. Checking in for CORRINA Elder. So the cousins, Coy and French, both on the floor at the same time now for Sullivan. And Buck travels with a basketball. There was no pressure on Terry Buck, but she took it like a halfback a couple of steps before she put it on the floor.
We've seen quite a bit of that for some reason by the Seneca guards so far this half.
CORRINA Beck is back for Terry Buck. CORRINA Beck has yet to unleash one of her three-point bombs. Clayton fouled from behind by Angie Stubblefield as Clayton beat Stubblefield down the floor.
That's a real tough one. Stubblefield either had to try to run up court, beat her to a spot on the floor, cut her off. You don't want to ever trail a player from behind, and sure enough, she bumped her with the body as Becky Clayton wisely took it all the way to the hoop and tried to put it in.
Becky Clayton with a one-on-one opportunity. The captain of this Sullivan Lady Redskin team. Missed the free throw, but the ball tipped right back to her. In the lane, missed the 10-footer. And Einhaus clears the boards for Seneca. CORRINA BECK around traffic to Stubblefield. Ball tipped away out of bounds to Sullivan.
Well, CORRINA BECK with their ball handling has been a little tentative. There's a couple times she maybe should have pulled up, gotten to the center of the floor. That time got away with what may have been a travel and then threw it a little too high for Stubblefield, out of bounds.
12-4, the turnover disadvantage for Seneca. High pass, Glazebrook tracks it down. She is an excellent athlete. Three-pointer by Monroe.
She swished that so bad that net stayed up there and the referee had to whistle it to get it down. But I think what's happening, well, we'll talk about that in a second after we see the attempted layup by Robinson, but Seneca's defense seems to be sinking so much in the lane. Sullivan's wide open on the outside.
Monroe misses the jumper in this case. Robinson all the way down the floor against Glazebrook, missed another layup. And she's so frustrated right now, walking back down to the other end.
She wasn't missing those in the earlier game today.
Another three-point bomb by Monroe. Glazebrook follows and traveled as she fell to the floor.
I'd have to say that that's a questionable call. Glazebrook definitely put a shot up before she came down and landed, but if anything, they should have let it go to see if they could have corralled a rebound.
5 minutes for the half. 31-13 Sullivan. And now a pass right through Einhaus's hands, and Stubblefield can't save it, or Huffless can't save it on the far sideline, and a frustrated Seneca group right now. Officials timeout, 4:53 remaining in the half. 31-13, Sullivan with the big lead over Seneca. And one of your network sponsors is Country Companies Insurance. This copyrighted broadcast is presented for the entertainment and non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction or other use of this program without the written consent of the Illinois High School Association and cross-broadcast sales is strictly prohibited. 6 other times a team has reached the Class A title game undefeated. 3 other times they've walked away undefeated. And Sullivan trying to become the 4th undefeated Class A champion. They're in good shape right now, leading by 18, 31-13. Glazebrook, another 3. This one rolls off, and Huffless clears, but then loses to Monroe. Monroe to French, who laid it in.
Well, I tell you what, Seneca just careless here. Robinson not looking when she was called for the outlet, and Sullivan taking advantage of every opportunity.
That's 13 turnovers now. Huffless to Stubblefield. Forced the shot and hit it and was fouled. Angie Stubblefield has been unstoppable when she's gotten the basketball, but it's either been turnovers or pressure by Sullivan that has prevented Seneca from getting the ball inside the Stubblefield.
Well, when she gets the ball is the key. As you mentioned, Brian, the guards are having trouble in the middle part of the court handling the Sullivan pressure, but once they're able to establish a little bit of room and make a nice feed into the post, Stubblefield has been converting.
She converts on the three-point play and has 7. That foul on Tiffany French, her second. 33-16 as we near the 4-minute mark for the first half. Bullet pass out front to Glazebrook. Her 18-footer just inside the three-point stripe, and Glazebrook with 16.
Well, Sullivan doing a great job of skip passing the ball over to get another steal here.
Glazebrook inside to Coy for the hoop.
Well, it's outside, inside, outside, inside. Sullivan just hit from every possible angle, and with another steal by Glazebrook.
She is all over the place. Clayton to Glazebrook. Here she comes again, laid it in and was fouled.
Talk about a spark plug. Boy, this girl, Glazebrook, man, is going to be going to Illinois State, and I bet they're just licking their chops sitting here watching her here in Assembly Hall, but great job by Sullivan.
Timeout Seneca, 39-16 in favor of Sullivan. 3:36 remaining first half. One of your network sponsors is Ciba Geigy. 36 seconds remaining in the first half, and Sullivan in the process of breaking all kinds of tournament records.
Well, there's another new record that they'll be breaking here, no doubt. They already have 39 points and need only 41 to record the most points in a half of a championship game. The old record went to Joliet West in 1978 of 41 points.
Glazebrook missed the free throw, but 3 Seneca players at least were in the lane too soon.
She faked everyone out on that one.
So wipe out the miss, and Glazebrook with another chance. 19 first half points for Amanda Glazebrook, who averages 18.2 on the year. Sullivan shooting 50%, Seneca 35%, and the turnovers have been the big story. And we might be headed to another one. Beck finally breaks the pressure to Einhaus, and she is fouled in the front court.
Well, smartly, Donna Einhaus takes it right at Glazebrook there, and that's just what they're going to have to do. They have to be a little more direct with their ball handling, take it to a spot on the floor, and try to initiate some offense.
Amanda Glazebrook with her second. 2 shots coming for Donna Einhaus, 5'10" senior.
She's one of the 3 All-State people on this Seneca team. She's 4-team All-State, and her teammates Angie Stubblefield is also on the All-State team. So they're certainly a little bit fatigued here, though, this evening, and we'll see if they can make a run.
Tiffany French to the star Glazebrook, who missed it this time. French follows it up once, follows it up twice. Stubblefield blocked it the second time, but Clayton follows it up. And finally, Seneca pulls the rebound down, and French fouls Veronica Huffless.
A little bit of frustration foul if I ever saw one. Came up short on both of her attempts. And then we have Becky Clayton following it for a 3rd time, and Huffless finally tries to pull it down strongly, but there's all red jerseys around her, and French called for the foul.
French with her 3rd personal.
We have 2 lanes.
And Veronica Huffless, a 66% free thrower, will have 2 shots coming. (40-18) is our score as Huffless hits the first of 2. Let's check in with Joe Passion. Joe, what do you have for us?
During that last timeout, the Sullivan coach, Scott Thomas, imploring upon his girls with a smile and a jovial atmosphere. Don't enjoy this. Keep the pressure on. The other side, of course, the Seneca coach, Rich Anderson, telling his girls, stay up. Don't let it get to you. This game isn't over yet.
Thank you, Joe. 40-20 is our score. And Misha Coy misses a foul line jumper, but the outlet from Stubblefield is thrown right in front of us. You were going to save me, right?
Trying to put my hands up in time here, but Stubblefield with the good rebound, just a bit of a miscue on her outlet to Robinson.
So another Seneca turnover. Seems we've been saying that a lot. Monroe misses the jumper, and a wild battle for the rebound is put back up and in finally.
Again, Seneca sinking very low in their defense.
Coy with the last basket, and then Glazebrook fouled on her way to the hoop after another steal. We have to put this in perspective. This Seneca club came in at 28-1. Their lone loss by a point. So these aren't the little sisters of the poor that Sullivan is manning around in this first half.
Coach Anderson looking at him saying, is this my team? He just hasn't probably seen them play like this, but credit Sullivan. They're hitting their shots. When they're not hitting the shot, they're in there for the follow right away. When the ball goes through the hoop, immediate pressure, and Seneca just isn't adjusting.
Amanda Glazebrook, 7 of 11 from the field, now 4 of 4 from the foul line, 20 points. It's been a career game in the first half for Glazebrook. And meanwhile, Angie Stubblefield, Seneca's best player, takes a seat with 3 personal fouls. Things going from bad to worse for the Lady Irish. Glazebrook misfires on the second. Amy Robinson in the forecourt. Stacey Bailey is checked in for the first time for Seneca, and Robinson throws the ball right to Stephanie Monroe. Monroe misses her 5-footer, and Einhaus has the rebound for Seneca. 2 minutes remaining first half. Bailey across the timeline, almost traveled, but did get it to Robinson. Einhaus through the lane, banked too hard, but a foul call.
The foul's going to go against Mishikoy for Sullivan.
Mishikoy with her first.
Well, Seneca coach Anderson stressed in the beginning that his guards are going to have to handle the pressure. It's one of the real keys for this game. Apparently in this half, it just hasn't happened. You see Stubblefield, their inside player, coming back in after a very brief rest, but realize her value. They just have to have her in there if they're going to make a run before halftime.
Lori Mitchell had come in for Stubblefield. Now with Stubblefield back in, Einhaus misses the first of 2 free throws. Does hit the second. 8 for Donna Einhaus. 43-21 Sullivan. They have done little wrong in this first half, and one big reason has been Amanda Glazebrook.
Well, as Amanda came somewhat close to our monitors here, I couldn't help but noticing all the black and blue marks on her knees, which just tells you how much she's been scrapping around on defense and just diving on the floor all tournament for this Sullivan team.
Yeah, she spent as much time on the floor as she has standing up in most games. Sullivan using some clock. Bullet pass inside to Coy, missed the shot, got it back. Then Monroe misses the 10-footer along the left sideline, and Einhaus has another rebound. She's had quite a few in this first half for Seneca. Bailey crossed the timeline, had it knocked away and out of bounds. Constant pressure by Sullivan. They just don't let up.
Well, Bailey kind of has a high handle on her dribble over there and is not staying low, and she's trying to get to the middle of the court, then proceeding into the trap on the sideline. But you mentioned Einhaus doing a good job clearing the boards, and when she's been able to take it up the floor, they've been able to get into some kind of offense.
Becky Clayton sits down in favor of Kristen Grooms for Sullivan. Einhaus looks to Stubblefield. They lob it there and bank it in. So Angie Stubblefield, taller than everyone else, and just throw it up where her hands can catch it.
It's the way they're going to try to get back into this.
9 for Stubblefield, but still a 20-point deficit. Let's see now if Sullivan works for the last shot with 30 seconds remaining. Monroe throws the ball right to us. So Seneca now will have an opportunity to cut into this 20-point deficit.
Just never letting up on the pressure. You could see on that inbound, the whole Sullivan team was lined up man-to-man, just not letting Seneca go anywhere.
Huffless misses the shot, then tries to get it back, but clearing it is Mishikoy. And apparently an injured player, that Veronica Huffless, so the official stopped play to let Huffless get up.
Which is a wise decision. We saw in the consolation game the fatigue factor setting in and a lot of bodies down, and the officials were letting them play, and it turned into a couple injured players that they had to take into the locker room due to injury.
IHSA Southwestern winning that consolation game over Elgin St. Edward. Now a rare mistake for Amanda Glazebrook. Penetrated a bit too far and got called for charging.
One of the good defensive plays we've seen by the Seneca team. Again, their defense has been a little suspect here. They've been really sinking into the key, and then on the rebounds, they're not able to turn and get a good block out.
Stubblefield never gets the shot away. So we have come to the end of a frustrating first half for Seneca, And a tremendous first half for the Lady Redskins of Sullivan, trying to complete an unbeaten season. They have shown why they are the #1 ranked team in the state, leading by 20 at 43-23. And it started with Amanda Glazebrook, 20 points in that first half.
Well, that Sullivan team really putting on a clinic for us. We have only seen them play in the one prior game, but I tell you what, they're really ready to claim that Class A title game.
Becky Clayton, who we told you up top was one of the key players for Sullivan, their leading rebounder and second leading scorer, had but 2 points in that first half. And if nothing else, I think that pretty much showed some of the problems that Rich Anderson and his coaching staff had, that they were not able to get to the main players that Sullivan had. And even though they stopped Clayton, they weren't able to stop Amanda Glazebrook. At halftime, it's Sullivan 43 and Seneca 23. And one of your network sponsors is the Toyota Dealers of Illinois.
IHSA as president of the board. And
halftime here at the Assembly Hall in Champaign-Urbana. And the Sullivan Lady Redskins, going for an unbeaten 35-0 season, lead the 28-1 Seneca Lady Irish by a big margin of 43-23. I'm Brian Wheeler along with Karen Stack back here at courtside. Hard to believe, Karen, that Seneca got the first 2 points of this game, but that's been about the highlight of the first half.
Well, we thought we'd see a much closer game, and it's just unbelievable the way Sullivan has pressured them, and Seneca really not able to counter with any pressure of their own.
Well, very prophetic was Rich Anderson before this game, saying that his guards had to handle the Sullivan press. Not only have they not handled it, but we have also seen some problems on Seneca's part in handling Sullivan's top point guard, Amanda Glazebrook, who had 20 in the first half. 43-23, our score at the intermission, with Sullivan out in front by 20, and we'll be back with more after these local messages.
Number 5, Erica Smith. Number 10, Amy Ward. Number 11, Jamie Graville. Number 12, Heidi Kabala. Number 13, Holly Rillinger. Number 14, Ren LeBlanc. Number 15, Jackie Gerzalak. Number 20, Carrie Alter. Number 21, Diana Sosowski. Number 22, Michelle Hollenstein. Number 23, Ingrid Crane. Number 24, Heather Dawson. Number 30, Michelle Rodriguez. Number 31, Julie Sater.
It's a 20-point lead for #1 ranked and unbeaten Sullivan over once-beaten Seneca here at the Class A basketball final. This tournament scrapbook here at halftime, we'd like to give you a special in-depth look at the history of the girls' state tournament. Tonight, we take a journey down memory lane through the first 15 years of girls' basketball tournament action.
And I want to tell you, it was a thrill. It was a thrill to actually see the ball go up.
When Sterling and Washington tipped off in 1977 at Illinois State's Horton Fieldhouse in Normal, the dreams of women like Charlotte Bremberg, Helen Heitman, and Marion Kinnear were answered at last. This first girls' championship was the answered prayer to dreams of those who had battled to get championship competition for the girls, and like the boys, have their championships televised. Sterling beat Washington in that first title game 52-38 to finish an unbeaten 21-0 campaign and begin the newest tradition in Illinois high school basketball. The tournament moved to Champaign the next year at Illinois' Assembly Hall. The tournament went to the two-class system in 1980, with Benton winning the first Class A title, while East St. Louis Lincoln beat Chicago Marshall to win the first AA championship. The standout for Lincoln in that 31-0 unbeaten season and 64-47 romp over Marshall was a girl who would become the greatest track and field performer in the world, Olympic champion Jackie Joyner. As the years went by, two schools became the dominant powers in their respective division. Chicago Marshall and their outstanding coach, Dorothy Gators, won 4 AA titles, including this overtime win over New Trier in 1989, to establish a standard of excellence that will not be easy for anyone to equal. Marshall made 13 consecutive appearances in the Elite Eight before losing to Chicago, Washington this week in the Sweet 16 game.
Marshall is unbelievable. Dorothy Gators has a program that is just hard to believe. She just always has excellent teams. And she has dominated, basically.
Teutopolis is the team that ruled Class A competition through the 80s. Dennis Kester's Lady Shoes won titles in 1986, 1988, 1989, and last year, and won second-place trophies in 1984 and 85. In 1986, the school completed a rare double as the Teutopolis boys also won the Class A title.
I see quality of play getting better. That's a given. I see officiating. I would like to see officiating by women come back into vogue. I think we need more women involved in the officiating ranks, and why they're not getting in, I have no idea. I mean, I have some thoughts why they aren't. Then the other thing I see for girls basketball is I think it's going to be more prestigious in communities to be a part of a team.
Next year, the girls' tournament returns to normal at its new home, Redbird Arena, on the campus of Illinois State University. The future is bright as the tournament winds its way toward the 21st century.
It's amazing that in 15 years, high school girls basketball has gone from a slow, turnover-ridden game played before small crowds to this fast-paced, physical game you're seeing here tonight, played before a packed gymnasium. We're at halftime. Sullivan leads Seneca. We'll be back after this timeout from our local sponsors.
Sullivan with the 20-point advantage over Seneca here at halftime at Assembly Hall, 43-23. And Karen, we saw an excellent consolation game in the Class A bracket earlier this evening as IHSA Southwestern ended up with the victory over Elgin St. Edward. Another hard-fought contest. Every game but this one thus far had been hard-fought.
Really have. It was a great game and really wasn't determined until the final 2 minutes when IHSA took control. So St. Ed's was in there all the way, and I think fatigue set in a little bit, and they're like, let's just get this over with.
Congratulations to Merv Prethis and the rest of the IHSA Southwestern girls who took 3rd place in the Class A bracket. Meanwhile, our stats in the first half, as you might imagine, heavily favor Sullivan.
Well, both teams, what we can see a little parity in is the free throw shooting. Both teams driving, getting to the line, but Sullivan just out-shooting Seneca and out-rebounding is the main stat that kind of turns up. And the last stat is the main one for Seneca with the 19 turnovers, just not able to handle that pressure.
You aren't going to win many games with 19 turnovers for the entire contest, let alone for one half. And no one in double figures for Seneca. Angie Stubblefield leading the way with 9, but she was contained for much of that half. But the big scorer in the contest, not only for Sullivan, but also for the game, Amanda Glazebrook, the 5'7" senior with 20 points, and one other Lady Redskin in double figures, that Tiffany French with 10. Now, if you're Sullivan, you have to be very happy that Amanda Glazebrook is on your side.
Well, she has just been really fired up, leading her team, and there you get the quick drive in the lane and very alert on defense right away. We'll see the ball comes around the perimeter on the outside, and she just gets her legs set from the outside the three-point line. Nothing but net.
Glazebrook had 2 3-point field goals in that first half.
Again, we see the rebounding action underneath, and Einhaus got a couple, but Clayton here with a nice block, and she just has been kind of quiet offensively, but defensively doing a real nice job for Sullivan.
There's the second of Glazebrook's 3-pointers in that half.
Well, just really clicking on all cylinders. Sullivan beating Seneca up the floor consistently, and Glazebrook there for another layup when she wasn't hiding on the 3-point line there. She was right into the basket for some easy layup.
And here's some of that pressure defense.
Yeah, Becky Clayton shows her versatility as a 6-footer. She's just moves around like a guard out there as well, and nice little way to get that steal, and they really made Seneca pay every time with the layup.
Sullivan with the 20-point advantage over Seneca as we wind down for the end of halftime. We'll be back with second half action immediately following these local messages.
That first half, to get up like that, obviously you got things to talk about. So that's, just be real brief and regard.
Ballots for the Associated Press and United Press International All-Tournament team should be turned in before voters leave the building following this game. Two media representatives voting for the Associated Press All-Tournament team should turn in their ballots at seat number 46.
Well, the Sullivan head coach is up by 20 points, but when Scott Thomas has got to go to a ball game, he's got to go to a ball game. He heard the horn, and he's off and running. One thing he did share with me about the locker room, his main emphasis has been just trying to keep the girls ahead of the ball game. They may be ahead by 20, but there's an entire half of basketball yet to play. He's got a sly smile on his face. He knows about that half, and Seneca will come out ready to play. Now let's go back and join Brian and Karen.
Thank you, Joe. Karen, if you're Rich Anderson of Seneca, what are you telling your ball club getting ready for the second half, trailing by 20 against an unbeaten ball club?
Well, they just really have to limit their turnovers and handle that pressure of Sullivan. They have to just, if you can, take your time and still make up those amount of points, but they seem very flustered in the first half, and they just have to settle it down and play their game. They're a very capable ball club.
We see Amanda Glazebrook and Stephanie Monroe just off to our left, ready to inbound the basketball, sharing some pleasantries with one of the officials. So you know that it's a relaxed Sullivan team right now.
Exactly, they're looking very loose out there.
Glazebrook to Monroe. There's Adams, who's back in. 3 fouls in the first half for SHERI Adams. Adams, as Einhaus fell down, and she hit the 15-footer.
Well, you'll notice the heavy wrap on SHERI Adams' leg, too. She went out in the early game this afternoon and was almost in tears and pain, and she shows how tough she is. She's back and ready to play in this championship game.
CORRINA BECK throws it inside and turns it over. That's number 20 as Tiffany French steals. Now French in a bad spot, but does find Monroe. Monroe's shot rejected by Stubblefield, but oh, what a feed underneath to Clayton from Glazebrook.
Boy, she just sees that whole floor, and her quick passing is what's really impressive here. Just really rifles the ball with a quick left-handed wrist snap.
Stubblefield over Clayton. Missed the shot.
When you're a big player inside, you got to use that backboard. You can tell the little fatigue on Stubblefield. She's been pretty accurate from there inside so far today.
Monroe misses a 3. Einhaus clears the boards. And CORRINA BECK on the attack. We've been bragging about CORRINA BECK's 3-point prowess, but she's yet to attempt one in this game and really hasn't had much of a chance to.
Sullivan not giving them much room at all on defense.
Einhaus with a pretty move, but missed the shot. Trying to follow, she's fouled before she can go back up.
Credit that
Adams, that's her fourth.
I was going to say, you could credit it to either one of those two players. French is there, and SHERI Adams there as well, and I guess they will choose Adams, not French, as we see on the screen.
Adams with 4. Seneca with the basketball back. Beck misses the jumper. Einhaus with another rebound, followed it home.
She's doing a real nice job rebounding for Seneca, but that's been one of the few bright spots for them.
10 points for Donna Einhaus, who averages about 6.5 rebounds per contest. French out toward the timeline. Glazebrook is open left of the circle. French has it back to Monroe. Glazebrook calling for the basketball here on the far side. Clayton in the lane, shot blocked from behind by Stubblefield and cleared. Robinson ahead to Stubblefield, running the floor. She banks it in.
Hey, nice control by Stubblefield. I thought Robinson delivered it to her a little early, but showed a real good ball control for a 6'2" post player.
Back to a 20-point lead for Sullivan. Adams from the left baseline. Stubblefield rebounds. CORRINA BECK. Now Amy Robinson. Bank shot by Lori Mitchell is missed. There's the jack of all trades, Amanda Glazebrook in the forecourt. She traveled. Got away from one defender, but then penetrated a bit too far into the forecourt and turned it over.
She seems to have glue on her hands. On the one end, Stubblefield looked like she had the rebound cleared, and somehow it ended up in Amanda Glazebrook's hands. Coach Anderson still trying to contemplate how they're going to make a run at this Sullivan team that has not let up 1 ounce.
Terry Buck is in for CORRINA BECK. Buck has it. Now Robinson out toward the timeline. We played 3 minutes of this third quarter. Stubblefield high post. Tried to pass it inside, and Monroe steals. She is the underrated part of this backcourt duo for Sullivan. Tiffany French. Nice ball movement. Glazebrook missed the jumper, and Stubblefield reached right over French to grab that rebound. That's what long arms will do.
For sure. I agree with you on the last. We'll see Stephanie Monroe up on the ball defense. She is a very athletic little guard and really quietly has been doing the job for Sullivan.
Here's Monroe on cue. Missed the shot but was fouled after another Seneca turnover. Monroe will have 2 free throws.
She's a junior and she likes those big games. I guess in the first game against Georgetown, she had 19 points and led the Sullivan club, so it kind of came out of nowhere and took on the role as a scorer. But today we see her much more in the role of just taking care of the ball and passing it around to her teammates.
Monroe misses the first free throw. She'll have 1 more coming.
Not very strong from the foul line at only 38%, but again, she hasn't gotten there a whole lot this season.
Does hit the second. Officials timeout. 4:19 remaining in the third quarter. Sullivan with a 21-point lead over Seneca at 48-27. One of your network sponsors is True Value Hardware. It was a 20-point lead for Sullivan at halftime. It's 21 now, 48-27. I told you earlier about Chuck Blake and the Ponset girls, the smallest school in this girls tournament. And those were some of the players from the Ponset. What a great story.
Sure is, and I tell you what, it's nice to come back to this high school setting and just see the tremendous support by these hometowns of their girls teams.
Seneca on the attack. Stubblefield banked it in.
You can add on a couple more to that point total you just saw on the screen, 13 for Stubblefield, and as we mentioned in the open, she is the big force for Seneca.
Probably hasn't gotten the ball enough for Rich Anderson's liking. Monroe swings to Adams. Open baseline, missed it. Clayton with another board, follows it in. She had 7 rebounds at halftime and adding to that total.
Well, we feature Clayton in the open too. She's been kind of quiet, but really only has taken 4 or 5 shots so far this game. So, you know, when you have Glazebrook going like she's going, you don't really need Clayton too.
Great steal by SHERI Adams, who was fouled on her shot attempt. And the Seneca players very frustrated, talking to each other because they have not found the solution to the riddle that's been posed by the Sullivan pressure.
And it's tough when you're not matching up man-to-man. People missing assignments, it's hard to point a finger with blame there. It just seems like the Sullivan players are getting in there into the seams and no one's blocking them out. There's no Seneca defender on them, and I imagine they'd be real tough to stay with if you did go to them in a man-to-man defense situation.
Adams hits one and misses one. Well, we said earlier today that the common theory is that state championships are won in the backcourt. And Sullivan is living proof that maybe that theory is true.
Well, and Seneca struggled real early, and that just put them behind the 8 ball. Their guards turning the ball over.
And if the guards can't handle it, Stubblefield inside can't get it. She has it now, but far away from the hoop.
I was gonna say, she's not inside though.
Missed the jumper. French clears for Sullivan. Stubblefield comes to impede French's progress. And now Adams again, baseline. Glazebrook has not scored this half.
But I like their ball movement and their offenses. Each girl just really does not hold on to the ball for very long. They swing it around and are able to get some good opportunities.
Monroe missed the shot as she flew through the lane as the ball was tipped out front. And the nice thing is every pass seems to be one that will lead to a hoop. You see a lot of passes often that are made for no purpose at all.
What they've been finding too is when they have a skip pass or when they swing it around real quickly, they do have one of their guards setting up on the perimeter for that good shot if none of the Seneca defense comes out on them.
It's been a nightmarish game taking care of the basketball for Seneca. Rich Anderson's club with 24. SHERI Adams. French swings it nicely to Glazebrook. Missed the three-point try. Clayton trying to battle for it. It's tipped out of bounds by Lori Mitchell of Seneca.
Well, you absolutely have to get the rebound if that's what you're giving up on the outside, and Seneca just not aware of where the Sullivan players are to block them out.
Clayton with a pretty up and under move, missed it, but followed it in and was fouled. Well, Becky Clayton might have had a slow start, but she has 8 points now and is looking for number 9. And that foul on Lori Mitchell, her first.
And that'll quickly cause Veronica Huffless to come back into the lineup. They just really need her size on the inside. And they're going to go with the 3 taller players, Einhaus in there now, along with Huffless and Stubblefield.
Becky Clayton approaching a double-double. Missed the free throw. Hustling for the ball is Amy Robinson for Seneca. Einhaus lobs to Stubblefield. Nice feed to Huffless.
And if they could see that a little more often, the Sullivan pressure is way up court, and they're able to attack the basket if they get a quick pass up there.
A minute and a half for the third quarter. Tiffany French. Three-point try. Stephanie Monroe with the high arch, missed it, then hustled to save it, but Seneca controls. It's Amy Robinson. Bounce to Terry Buck. Pass right side to Einhaus, and hustling to knock it away and out of bounds was Amanda Glazebrook. There has been no drop-off in defensive intensity for Sullivan in this third quarter, despite the big lead.
Well, I don't know if they've ever played any two-game situations before in any tournaments, but this doesn't seem to be phasing the Sullivan team at all. Their energy level is still very high.
Nice hand for Amanda Glazebrook as she sits down along with Becky Clayton. They lob to Stubblefield, who bounces inside to Veronica Huffless. 2 fine assists from Stubblefield to Huffless. We've played almost the entire third quarter, and it's still a 20-point lead for Sullivan. So Seneca has made no headway. Misha Coy can't penetrate baseline and ends up losing the ball to Einhaus.
Sullivan Seneca on a mini run here. They're really seeming to get a little bit of momentum as we're closing the third quarter.
Einhaus with a nice bank shot. Now has 12. 30 seconds. Scott Thomas says 1 shot. CORRINA Elder. Elder looking for some help. Mishikoy has it with 10 seconds. Stephanie Monroe right around Huffless. Shot blocked by Stubblefield, and getting it back was Monroe, only to see Stubblefield steal it. Robinson, can she get a shot away? Her three is short. We have played 3 quarters here at the Assembly Hall in the Class A championship game. And Sullivan leads Seneca 53-35. The Lady Redskins looking for an unbeaten season. Seneca ended up outscoring Sullivan 12-10 in the 3rd quarter, but they still trail by a wide margin, 53-35 as we start the 4th quarter. A championship game record, another one that Sullivan is fast approaching. The record is 16. They have 14 steals in this contest through 3 quarters. And almost another one, but traveling after stealing the ball momentarily was Amanda Glazebrook.
So I guess they technically will count that as a steal because she had possession if they called it travel.
Einhaus for Seneca. Lobs to Stubblefield, and Clayton is over her back.
And if Stubblefield can maintain her position inside there in the key, it's going to force Clayton to either foul her or she'll have that free shot to the basket if they can keep the ball up nice and high.
Clayton with her 3rd, 2nd team foul. Stubblefield fades, missed the shot. And then a foul called, very obvious one, on Veronica Huffless as she hammered CORRINA Elder in the chest.
Well, Stubblefield went up with the shot. She ran a nice pattern, and Huffless, again, the fatigue, didn't quite get there with her feet and was trying to rebound from the 2nd position.
4 personal fouls now on Veronica Huffless, and 4 on Seneca as a team in the 2nd half. Adams missed the baseline shot, but hustling is Elder. She'll have a chance at a 3-point play.
Elder, just a real spark plug for the Sullivan team. She's a great competitor, and she came in after not playing for so many games. She's only played in 15 this year. You see her just sneaking in from the top of the key, and a nice up fake, and she'll draw contact from Einhaus and try for the 3-point opportunity, as you saw her celebrating a little bit there. But tell you what, she was, as we said, cleared to play just this past week. Came in, hit 2 for 2 big free throws in the quarterfinal game, and showed you a nice move on that last play.
Missed the free throw, but the rebound tip right back to Sullivan. Glazebrook then traveled with the basketball. Got caught in the air and was trying to push through traffic and turned it over. She's had a few traveling violations tonight, and that's been about the only thing she's done wrong.
Right, really trying to force the action. And I guess when you're a player like that, you're going to get those turnovers because you're trying to create so much out on the basketball floor.
Amy Robinson. 1 minute gone, 4th quarter. Einhaus in the lane, almost traveled herself. Now Robinson's 3.
And what a lift for Seneca. Robinson not known for taking many outside shots, but Seneca team will take that one anytime.
First 3 of the ball game for Amy Robinson. SHERI Adams. Skip pass to Monroe. Nice feed to Clayton. Another nice feed to Glazebrook. Missed the shot. She has not scored in the 2nd half. Terry Buck on the push for Seneca. Had it knocked away and stolen by Clayton. Clayton has done a lot of the dirty work for Sullivan tonight. Monroe tripped as she comes across the timeline by Amy Robinson.
Well, Robinson thought she could get a quick poke at the ball at the half court, but anytime you're in a reach-in situation, Stephanie Monroe really pushing the ball up the floor, goes by a couple Seneca defenders. sure enough, Robinson puts her knee in, and Monroe catches that as she's crossing half court.
Seneca uses their third timeout. 6:21 remaining in the basketball game. Sullivan by 17 at 55-38. One of your network sponsors is the Toyota Dealers of Illinois.
State tournament since 1978.
Yeah, come out in front of Jim a little bit. There you go. Good. All right, we are down here with some leprechauns that have been somewhat of the unofficial mascots of the Lady Irish. Jim However, how did this all start?
Well, back 5 years ago on a regular scheduled game, Dick and I decided we should have some cheerleaders for the girls. So from that point on, it just took off.
Dick Lamont continues with just the girls' sport.
Yeah, we've been following them all through the tournaments for the last 5 or 6 years.
Great male support at Seneca, even boy cheerleaders. Now back to the girls' game.
Dick Lamb, by the way, the father of Linda Lamb, a 5'7" junior on the Seneca club. I just want to know how you drive in those Aladdin-like shoes.
Tell you what, they're great, and the Seneca team could use a little luck of the Irish out here in the second half.
I tell you, they run out with the basketball team when they come out on the floor, and they're hustling just like the girls. Glazebrook, with her first 2 of the second half, has 22 for the game. Clayton almost stole it, then lost it out of bounds on the far sideline, but the pressure has not been turned off by Scott Thomas and the Sullivan Lady Redskins. They break Robinson long. Can Glazebrook catch her? Knocked it away and out of bounds. Great hustle without fouling.
Well, Robinson struggled on a couple layups so far this evening, and I think she held up a little bit too long on that one. Glazebrook was able to catch up with her and block it out of bounds.
Here's Huffless, lobs to Stubblefield. Underneath the hoop, she scores easily.
Alertly spotted her. There was no weak side help there at all. Stubblefield had the lane sealed off, and she's really been great when they've been able to get the ball up to her high. She just turns, and it's an automatic shot off the glass.
Clayton backing in. Bank no. Rebound, Einhaus and Stubblefield. It's Stubblefield. Hands to Robinson. 5.5 minutes left. They break. Huffless long. She missed the shot. Followed it up and in.
And all of a sudden, Seneca off the floor, and none of the Sullivan defenders back there to guard against the layup.
It's a 15-point game. Adams to Clayton. Shot over Stubblefield. Missed it. Ball tipped to the floor. Clayton has it back and put in a very important 5-footer.
Well, Veronica Huffless was right there, but she's very aware with those 4 fouls that she couldn't afford her 5th.
And then the lead pass from Robinson to Huffless, a bit too far, and Seneca turns it over. So key basket for Clayton, and a miscue for Seneca offensively, and all of a sudden the run that Seneca was on may be on its way to being halted. Glazebrook sits down.
Yeah, with 5 minutes left, she'll take a little breather, and I'm sure we'll see her back very shortly.
Joe Passion, what do you got for us?
Great story about how Scott Thomas, the head coach of Sullivan, came to Sullivan. 5 years ago, he was an assistant at Tetopolis High School. His school went to Sullivan to play at Sullivan. Bus broke down. The people at Sullivan helped get the girls to the game. And while they were at the game, they even fixed the bus. Well, he thought the people there were so nice, he wanted to work in Sullivan. A year later, he became an assistant coach at Sullivan. And now here in his first year as head coach of the Lady Redskins, Scott Thomas, the nice guy who likes working with nice people, make it a very nice trophy to take home to that friendly town of Sullivan, Illinois.
Great story, Joe. I tell you, maybe those people that helped fix the bus should get a medallion at the end of this game, too. Tiffany French had her shot blocked by Stubblefield, got it back to Adams. Air ball from 5, and Huffless clears for Seneca. We've seen Stubblefield block some shots, it appears, with her armpit tonight.
It's almost by accident. She's just standing there, and the player is going right into her.
A wild sequence, and in the backcourt, Amanda Glazebrook is fouled by Robinson, who had missed a shot, and she looks very frustrated right now.
Well, Amy Robinson just trying to be aggressive and thought she could get away with either a tie-up or just a no call, but no such luck, and she'll be whistled for the personal foul.
17 fouls on Seneca, a 1-on-1 opportunity for Amanda Glazebrook, who was 4 of 5 from the foul line tonight. You can't say both coaches didn't come dressed for the occasion. Thomas in all red. The Sullivan colors, of course, red and black. And Rich Anderson in green. The Seneca colors, green and gold. And another hoop put up and in off an offensive rebound for Sullivan. Robinson fouled from behind by Monroe.
Oh boy, and that call could have gone either way. I thought I saw Amy Robinson leaning in, and Glazebrook wanted the offensive charge called, as you see here. Yep, looked to me like Robinson initiated the contact, but Glazebrook was not set, so the foul will go against her.
Glazebrook and not Monroe picking up the personal, the third, and now Tiffany French picks up her 4th personal foul, and just like that, Sullivan with 2 quick personals.
Foul against Tiffany French, her 4th, the 4th team foul.
Still, Seneca needs to draw a few more fouls on Sullivan for it to be a factor and get them into some type of bonus situation.
Robinson. Now Donna Einhaus, who has quietly had a very fine game for Seneca. 14 points now.
And a ton of rebounds.
3.5 minutes remaining. Huffless tips the ball away to Robinson. Tried to bounce it, and it's tipped out of bounds by the ever-hustling Amanda Glazebrook.
That's the truth. I tell you what, she has been all over the floor today.
Well, we were concerned about fatigue with these teams playing their 2nd game in a day, but not much fatigue on Amanda Glazebrook's part as Huffless hits a turnaround jumper.
She's been kind of quiet this evening, but this afternoon had 21 in the semifinal game and very capable of putting up the big numbers.
Clayton to Adams. Shot blocked from behind. Adams fights for the rebound. 4 players on the deck. Alternate possession to Sullivan.
SHERI Adams is another underrated player for that Sullivan team. She's really an outside, very good outside threat, and she's very quick. Gets the ball on a lot of aggressive tie-ups, and another tie-up will see the possession going to Seneca.
And interestingly enough, Scott Thomas with a 17-point lead angrily called that timeout, not happy with what he's seen the last few moments from his Sullivan club. 3:01 remaining. Sullivan leading Seneca 63-46. One of your network sponsors is True Value Hardware. Some great basketball entertainment this weekend here at the Assembly Hall, and some great musical entertainment as well. The Petersburg High School Band enjoying themselves and the crowd enjoying them here at the Class A title game. Well, Karen Steck, we haven't had a chance to ask you, coming back to the Assembly Hall where you once played in the state championship at Oak Forest. Any memories that were brought back when you got into this building again?
Oh yeah, a ton of memories, especially seeing all the fans in the stands. When we played, there was a sea of yellow and black, and it's just great to see all the support, and you just kind of get those jitters when you enter the Assembly Hall and see all the different teams and all the school spirit.
What's it going to be like next year when the tournament moves to Bloomington?
Well, it's the start of a whole new era, really. We'll have to wait and see. It's certainly a nice arena down there, and it may help establish some kind of identity for the girls.
Angie Stubblefield misses a three-pointer, and as the ball goes out of bounds, Sullivan has control with 2:21 remaining.
I guess one of the reasons they have moved it to Redburn Arena is because of all the events going on here at Assembly Hall. It just kind of makes sense. Loose ball in the backcourt, Robinson. Glazebrook tried to catch her. Robinson missed the layup, and Clayton clears. Well, we should get a shot of Amanda Glazebrook's knees, both of them
scarred to the bone almost, with as often as she's dove to the floor. And there she is on the floor again. Clayton scooped it in.
Well, Clayton, I tell you, she's a real tough inside player heading to Western Illinois, and really a strong player with some good finesse inside.
65-46, three-pointer by Einhaus is missed. Clayton with another rebound. Monroe against Einhaus. Bank no. There's Glazebrook. Missed the shot. Rebound follow. Adams. And traveling called. And SHERI Adams nods her head saying, yep, I did it. Adams, Monroe, and French check out. Coy, Grooms, and for the first time, Susan Schellebarger check in. Stubblefield fights her way inside. 17 for Angie Stubblefield.
Real nice move for the big girl. Nice pump fake and put the ball down well on the floor to drive that baseline.
Glazebrook is fouled out front by Veronica Huffless, and I believe that is 5 on Veronica.
A lot of players holding their knees, and can't blame them. 2 tough, emotional games played by each team today, and as their seasons are closing down, I bet a lot of thoughts are going through the minds of these young players.
Veronica Huffless has indeed fouled out with 1:01 remaining and 14 points. Substitutions galore for Seneca. Becky Clayton sits down for Sullivan.
Well, and you see Einhaus over on the bench, visibly upset, but they can't be upset after what a great season the Seneca team has had. This is only their second loss, and hey, Sullivan's proved why they are and have been rated the #1 team in the state in Class A.
Glazebrook misses the first of 2. The other side of the emotional picture.
Very calm looking for a team that's on the verge of winning the championship.
Glazebrook misses the second. Seneca with the rebound. It's Kelly Clicker. And in the forecourt, a foul called, and this will give Amanda Glazebrook a chance to get a hand from the Sullivan faithful. What an effort as she takes a seat in favor of Heather Emmel. Standing ovation. But the Seneca players can barely watch.
Well, the 2 seniors embracing each other over there, both heading on to what I'm sure will be very good collegiate careers here in the state of Illinois.
Kelly Clicker misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Seneca with the rebound, though. Brenda Ziegler to Bonnie Kelly. So Clicker, who missed the 5-footer. And the Sullivan rebound to Misha Coy with 40 seconds. Christy Jesse. And taking the shot, Heather Emmel, but missing it. And Bonnie Kelly on the attack for Seneca. 20 seconds. Brenda Ziegler. Kelly Clicker, 10-footer rolls off. Ball tipped out front. Fired up by Kelly and missed. And not being able to save the ball is Misha Coy. 6.3 seconds left, and the Sullivan bench now has finally been cleared.
I'll tell you, that's a real nice thing. It's a memory that'll stick with all of these players to even get an opportunity to get into the championship game, even if you're not one of the starters playing a lot of minutes.
Sarah Chastain and Tina McFeeters checked in. Bounce it inside. Coy steals the ball. Shot at the buzzer is off, but it won't matter. The Lady Redskins of Sullivan have won the last ever girls championship game in Class A here at the Assembly Hall in Champaign. 65-48 the final over the Lady Irish of Seneca. Sullivan becoming the 4th undefeated Class A champion. And Joe Passion is with the happy winning coach, Scott Thomas.
No problem. Scott Thomas, a lot to celebrate. Back in Sullivan, only one stoplight in the whole town, but now you got the biggest trophy in the state of Illinois for Class A girls.
We're just awful happy right now. The kids have worked very hard. I'm just real proud of them, and they came out and played a pretty good basketball game tonight.
The fact that you came out so strong early, were you afraid that Seneca was going to make its run? It seemed like you were pretty calm during the huddles.
Well, you know, as long as our kids are playing well and they're focused, then I'm okay. You know, it's when we start playing without our heads that I get worried. And I figure they're going to find a way to win as long as we can stay composed.
Well, let's bring Amanda Glazebrook in with us here. What a tremendous all-around player. I've never seen a player move as often without the ball as Amanda does, and that's got to be a big spark plug for you.
It is. You know, I've been saying for 2 years that she's the best guard in the state of Illinois, and I'll say it again, and I think people that watch her play would have to agree with me. I'm prejudiced, I know that, but that's what I think of her.
Well, Amanda, how about speaking for the teammates here? What the victory means, only one loss in 2 years. That's got to feel awfully good.
It's a great way to go out your senior year. I'm happy that we did it the way we did. I thought it'd be a lot closer, but I'm just ecstatic about the win.
Congratulations, Amanda. Congratulations. Thank you very much, Scott. We will be back with more of our post-game coverage of the girls' Class A high school basketball final from Assembly Hall in Champaign right after this timeout.
This is Jackson with 3. Jackson lets fly. Goal! Jackson won the game!
Hampton shoots a 25-footer. Goal! It's good! The game is over!
He's got it.
Could boil down to an offensive rebound right now. Williams shot it in and won! The game is over! Central wins!
Maybe in the season. 5 seconds. Bailey wheels it up. Goal!
March Madness is back. March Madness, the acclaimed video history of the Illinois High School Association basketball tournament featuring the players, coaches, and incredible games that made history, is still available. Relive the last-second shots. Meet the people behind the powerhouses and sentimental favorites in 81 years of tournament action. To get March Madness, send check or money order for $22.95, shipping included, to this address, or call 312-988-9080 between 9 and 5 Monday through Friday. That is 312-988-9080. Order now in time for the tournaments.
And pre-ball. First meet the principal of Seneca High School, Carla E. Copper.
The Sullivan Lady Redskins complete a 35-0 season with a 65-48 victory over the Lady Irish of Seneca. Karen Stack, a tremendous victory for a school that was making its first trip to the state finals, and what a way to make your initial trip a productive one.
Well, Sullivan just dominated the entire contest. I thought we'd see a little bit closer game, but this is only the 4th time in tournament history that an undefeated team has won the title, so they've been picked to do it, and it's what a great thing that is, to be the pre-season favorites and carry it all along and just be able to fulfill that.
As Karen mentioned, it was a dominating performance for Sullivan here this evening. They shot 38% to Seneca's 41%, but the big stat there, the rebounding and, in particular, the turnovers.
Right, the turnovers of Seneca, they had a lot in the first half, limited them somewhat in the second, and made a little bit of a run at Sullivan, but never really came with this closing margin here. Is about the closest they came in the entire second half.
And Amanda Glazebrook with a tremendous evening, 22 points and 13 rebounds, and she had 20 of those 22 in the first half. A great performance by a guard in this game, and we saw a great performance from an up-front player in the Class AA championship game that we saw earlier today with Mother McCauley defeating East St. Louis Lincoln. Megan Lucid, the young lady that we're referring to.
Well, Megan Lucid played a tremendous game for Mother McCauley. Went out with an ankle injury, and the competitive spirit that she has came back so quickly. She was barely down there long enough to get taped, and to see on the highlights here, we got Noreen Nolan coming up with the rebound, and Lucid there on the floor, but she came back quickly and scored, and got the coach saying, hey, is the game over? There was a little bit of confusion at the end. The referees didn't signal it, they were running down the ramp there and finally said, hey, the game's over, Macaulay has won. So.
Diane Dara and Mother Macaulay with the 4-point victory over East St. Louis Lincoln earlier today, 69-65. This game tonight turned out to be the only blowout that we had all afternoon long, with the 2 consolation games and the AA championship.
Yes, East St. Louis Lincoln really gave Macaulay all they could handle. It was a back and forth game the whole time, but again, Macaulay seemed just really intense on that game, and they wanted to avenge that loss that they had from last year's state tournament game where they lost by 2 to East St. Louis Lincoln in the consolation game.
And our congratulations to East St. Louis Lincoln's Raquel Ransom, who had a spectacular game as well, 25 points, and normally gets a lot of help from Anjanette Sumrall, who got into early foul trouble, and that was part of the problem for East St. Louis Lincoln this afternoon, as Macaulay won the Class AA championship, Sullivan with the Class A championship. And one of your network sponsors is Country Companies Insurance. We'll be back with more post-game festivities.
This time, please meet the Lady Redskins of Sullivan. Number 14, Michelle Coy. Number 20, Susan Schellebarger. Number 23, Corrina Elder. Number 24, Tiffany French.
The Sullivan Lady Redskins completing an unbeaten season with a convincing victory over the Lady Irish of Seneca in the Class A championship game. And let's head out to midcourt, because the medallions are being presented to the Lady Redskin players, and that means very shortly we'll be seeing the championship trophy as well.
Number 33, SHERI Adams. Number 34, Becky Clayton. Number 40, Tina McPheeters. Number 44, Christy Jesse. Manager, Brianna Cooper. Manager, Tina Hogue. Manager, Aaron Marshall. And Superintendent, Harold Edwards. Presenting the second place trophy will be Mr. Bill Mipps of Monticello High School in Monticello, who serves the IHSA as secretary of the board. Will Coach Rich Anderson and the captains of Seneca High School please step forward to receive their second place trophy. Mr. Mipps, if you please. Presenting the first place trophy will be LaVere Astros, who serves the IHSA as executive secretary. Will Coach Scott Thomas and the captains of Sullivan High School please step forward to receive the first place trophy. Mr. Astroff, if you please.
As the crowd applauds Sullivan, an unbeaten champion this year in Class A basketball, I'd like to thank Brian Wheeler and Karen Stack for being with us. Join us Friday, Saturday, March 8th and 9th for the boys Class A tournament. I'm Joe Passion. Good night, everyone.
This tournament telecast has been brought to you by, for more than 20 years, Country Companies Insurance. you've got the country behind you. The dairy farmers of Illinois and Wisconsin remind you to enjoy real dairy products. Look for the real seal in your grocer's dairy case. And the Toyota dealers of Illinois. I love what you do for me, Toyota.